I'm here today with Mike Nugent at Vestigo Ventures. This is Mark Cassidy, the general partner at Vestigo Ventures. And we're talking about data and what Mike has learned in his time with us, thinking about data and thinking about the companies we invest in. Mike, welcome.
Thank you, Mark. So it's been an incredible journey over the last 18, 20 months here, having joined Vestigo. I spent the 15 years prior to joining Vestigo on the other side of the table from venture capitalists, and everyone had always said you need to have better and more data, make data-driven decisions, and none of them had it. And this was the first time I actually found a firm that had a massive repository of data to help them with their investment process. So interestingly enough, I had started in the public markets, worked for Merrill Lynch and NASDAQ. I was actually at NASDAQ during the dot-com boom. Soon thereafter, I decided to go to business school, so I was in business school for the dot-com bust. Not a great time to get into the working world of venture capital.
So when you learn your best lessons in bust sometimes.
You do. When you're at the bottom, it's a great time to start. So I had moved into the private markets, and I had spent 10 years in the private markets. And transitioning from public to private market was really pretty shocking. To see just the lack of data, the lack of analytics, just a pure lack of technology there to assist a $4 trillion asset class, and it stuck with me. And over the course of the 10 years, it really guided me to want to found Bison. And Bison was a company based here in Boston, and it was really inspired by Morningstar from the data capabilities and FactSet from the proprietary analytics capabilities, brought into a singular platform to help both sides of the market, the GPs and the LPs. So I ran that company for 5 years, and along the way, I continued to fall more in love with the value of data and the leverage and what you could create from having good accessible data, and more importantly, the analytics on top to have actionable information. So when I had the good fortune to get to know the folks at Vestigo, I was kind of drooling at the data capabilities in addition to the opportunity in the space that we were looking at.
That's great, Mike. So now that you've been in the data for quite some time, and that was your vision of what you might find there, how has it turned out in terms of using that data at Cogo Labs?
It's been almost shockingly good to sit down and to look to see what is the breadth and depth of coverage and the richness of the data available within Cogo. It's something like I've never seen before. So when you can actually potentially have a view into the activity of 15 to 20 million websites and have a good understanding of what the vast majority of North American activity is on the website, on the web, it's unparalleled. When you can sit down and you can tease out what are the influencers interested in, and therefore how much influence they have over the followers when they're coming to new topics or new threads or trends, we get to see that. So having the data collectors, having the ground truth of what's going on out there, and being tied in with such a broad network of everybody from the marketing, the advertising, the technology, to really understand what's popping with every cookie, with every pixel, and tying that all back in to create a full network of what is the grand scale signal, gives us, I don't want to say an unfair advantage, but gives us a view that others have never had before.
Unfair is okay. I think we're all okay with it.
We'll take it, considering we're responsible for investing for people.
Exactly. So you've learned a lot about how the data works, and there's probably some lesson learned that you think about in terms of where the data maybe has some bias to it, or where it maybe provides particularly useful insight. I know that's often a question we get as we talk about it. So share that a little bit with our viewers here.
Yeah, I think there's really three major areas where we break down the data, particularly for the benefit of our investing activities. One is to identify new companies. Let's identify these nascent companies before the rest of the world is really keying in on them. Two is to be able to break down and really understand how efficient they are in a modern metric. How good are they with their SEO, with their SEM, with their key terms, with their email. Email is almost sort of the forgotten art. It's still the most cost-effective biz dev tool out there, and everyone's jumping the shark to go to all the competing online for key terms.
There we go.
But then you actually look to the ability to defend the portfolio, but also identify areas of opportunity for them. And having this wide web of opportunity and information gives us insights that you otherwise would not have. If you see a company that simply from a quantitative measure has a strong signal because influencers are going to the site, we might not have ever even thought about that company, or we would not have known about it until it was much too late for where we like to enter a company. So having this ever-running tool identifying just what's popping virally and has great traction with influencers and a significant supporting signal from followers, I literally have a hard time putting words to it, just how helpful it is.
Well, that's good. You're not going to get tears in there.
No,
Not quite that far.
I choke up often, but not on this one.
I don't know. Well, that's good. So it's great to hear that the data is useful. It's doing what you hoped it would do, and we're able to really then add value to our investment process.
Mm-hmm.